Hey y'all. Just wanted to give some quick, life updates before I catch my flight. Right now I'm in Boston right now. Shine finished last night. Ended up getting fourth place there. Lost to SFAT and then lost to Mango in a close set. And then heading back to work this week. But first I'm going to Atlanta for a work meeting. So it's kind of like back to reality pretty much. I guess I want to like specify like sort of what's been going on with me in the past, month or few weeks. I recently moved to Alabama for my next rotation of work. So the move went well, getting settled in, work's going well. I guess specifically I wanted to address like what being there means for me in terms of Smash. Like as most of you know, like this summer I had like the best, the highest peak of my career for Smash, like by far. Oh, from like February to August, I was living with Ziff and Mike G, two old school players. They're both Peach players, but we were living in a city called Buford, Georgia, which happens to have a very um, active, growing scene. There's a lot of players there who always want to play, and one of the cool things about living there was that I would come home from work for my 9 to 5, and I would come home and there was always people playing Melee when I came home, and it was a really great feeling. I would just come from work, grab a beer, sit down, and just start playing. And it's like Melee was a very inherent thing. It was just like a very natural thing. I would come home and I would play it constantly every single day for fun to enjoy it. And I attribute a lot of my success over the summer to that. It's like the fact that I learned to love Melee again, and the fact that it was so natural for me. I was doing it constantly. It became part of my daily routine, and in doing so, the game was always familiar to me. I could go into a tournament and not even warm up that much and end up winning the whole thing. Um, that all started with Battle of the Five Gods, and then Pound Six, and all these other events, EGLX, Smash and Splash, Low Tier City, right? All these events that I won, and then CEO, and then when Evo finally happened, it was like, if I can do this, this will be a true testament that I truly have reached the pinnacle, and then it did, against all odds. So that was a great feeling, and that was obviously wonderful. So right after Evo, basically I had to start packing up all my stuff and moving to Alabama. I was getting into the transition of going from Buford, Georgia, where there's a very large and vibrant scene. Mainly was like a secondhand nature for us, and moving to Demopolis, Alabama, which is honestly it's a nice little town, but the I'm the only Smasher there. The current population of Smashers is one now that I've moved there. So, I tried getting some good internet installed, tried playing NetPlay. It works sometimes, but it's not nearly as consistent because, Demopolis, Alabama, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Um, so for me to come to this event too was pretty clutch. But I wanted to compete. I was itching to compete after SmashCon, and SmashCon actually happened right as I was moving to Alabama. Like everything was packed up. My girlfriend was visiting, and like I wasn't even like it was already getting to the point where Melee was becoming less of a priority because I had to like get all my stuff to a new city. So I was still pretty happy that I got top two there, and Mango beat me pretty hard there. So then for this event for Shine, I was like, all right, okay, is it still possible for me to like to channel this like really good like god box that I had this summer? So I tried playing net play. I tried doing the same things that I used to do in Buford to make Melee natural, but the more I tried to do it, it felt like I was forcing it. It felt like I was like going into it with this like expectation like, oh, you're potentially number one ranked in the world right now. You have to meet this certain standard. You have to do this, or else like you're gonna lose. You're a fraud. You don't deserve it at all. And it's a very toxic mindset for me to have, and it really shouldn't be the way I approach melee in general. So I don't know. This tournament was definitely like a wake up call for me, and honestly, I'm gonna be in Alabama until February. So all the events between now and then, it's gonna be it's gonna be tricky to figure out how to maintain that same level of dominance that I had over the summer. But I'm a problem solver. I'm gonna try to figure it out. I'm still optimistic about it. But in general, it's you know, it's not like I haven't had barriers before. People ask me, "You, how do you balance this and that?" And I just told them it's just something you get used to over time. So I'm gonna do my best to drive to find any good players. There's about players an hour away in Tuscaloosa from where I live. So I'm gonna try to go there as often as I can and play as much as I can. I'm gonna try to host weeklies in my house. The one good thing about Alabama players is that because they're so sparse, they're willing to drive a long distance. So um, I'm gonna make it work. I know the reason that I haven't been as on point as I was this summer is from the lack of constant daily playing. Um, and you reap what you sow, as I always say. Like if you're praying it, if you're living, breathing Melee, if you're making it a wonderful pastime that you reward yourself with, that's exactly what I want it to be again. So definitely gonna go back to the drawing board, try to figure everything out, and yeah, just don't want to let my fans down, my friends and family. Just want to play the best that I can. I mean, even if I don't win, I want to really enjoy Melee again. That was one of the main things that I realized, like before Battle of the Five Gods, before this whole big streak started. It was just like I'm just gonna go here and do my best to enjoy myself and have fun playing Melee. And that was the same mindset that I had for all these tournaments. It wasn't I have to win. It was just like let me go kick some ass. Winning didn't concern me, and like I'm jealous of my past self. I want to be him again. I want to be there, and it was just like reaching the one rank was like such a big goal for me. It was such like a massive like the whole phrase where I wanted to touch the ceiling just once, and then when I did, and then like it was like where do I go from here, and how do I maintain this? So it's an unfamiliar feeling to me, and I'll grow into it. It's been a fun 10 years of this game, and I'm sure it's going to be another riveting 10 years to come. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, there's a month break before Big House, and I'm pretty sure Armada's going to go. I think maybe Leffen's going to go. I'm not too sure, if his stuff gets resolved. But I want to show up again, and I want to hear you know the cheering and the shouts whenever I hit a good rest or whenever I clutch out a really close set. And I want to get back to the person I was proud of. I want to do that again because I miss it. And I think it was me at my most prime, my most optimal, and it's me at my happiest. And I want to get back to being happy again. So yeah, thank you guys for your support. Sorry about this weekend, kind of got wrecked, but it happens. It's a very hard video game. We wouldn't be playing this game if it wasn't this hard, if it wasn't this deep. All the new players coming to the scene. I saw a bunch of them this weekend. So it's always great the tournament's growing. It's amazing that a city like Boston can have a 1,000-man tournament, and cities in Cali, cities in Florida, hopefully can have a 1,000-man tournaments. So keep on growing the scene. Shout outs to the Shine organizers. I know the main TO invested a lot of money into it, took a lot of risks. So great on him, and great on all the people who decide to continue growing the scene and taking these risks and allowing us to do what we love. So, all right, y'all. See you, Big House.